Welcome back, everyone, for some more Ace Attorney Dual Destinies. And we are ready to end this investigation here, which is becoming more of a retrial of what happened 7 years ago, as well as what's currently going on now. But if you guys have not watched last episode, I would highly recommend it. Things are kind of going bonkers at the Cosmos Space Center. The Space Center is actually being overrun by robots, and there is someone there that has hostages, if I can speak English, including Juicy. So we are going to be heading to the robotics lab, but before we do that, hope you guys have an awesome day today. Hope you guys doing well, so without further ado, but here we are, December 20th, Cosmos Space Center Robotics Lab. Laura dropped us off with a warning not to touch anything until she got back. I wonder what's taking so long. But we can't really start the investigation yet, can we? Even if we could, this makes it hard to tell what the room was like 7 years ago. Mr. Wright. Ah, it's a hostage shaker. I'm back to my usual self now. You are still being monitored, however. But more importantly, an important guest has arrived. A guest? Oh, no way! Alright. This is gonna... Stuff's gonna go down. Nice car.
I trust you've been well, right?
Hey there, Edgeworth. Edgeworth? What are you doing here? This is Miles Edgeworth. We've been friends since we were kids. We faced off in court a number of times back when he was a prosecutor. But now... Hello, Prosecutor Edgeworth. Oh, but you're not a prosecutor anymore, are you? He's Chief Prosecutor now. Pretty soon it'll be a year, right? A title is nothing more than a title. Don't we have more pressing issues to discuss? As a matter of fact, we do. So what are you doing here, Edgeworth? The captor chose me as the prosecutor for the UR1 case. Wow, she's good. She went all the way up to the top. I gathered all the information I could in the short time that I had. I'll give you a rundown. You're always so well prepared, Prosecutor Edgeworth. Thanks. I appreciate this. I could really use the help. I'll start with a brief overview. The victim was the psychologist Dr. Metis Sykes. Yeah, Athena's mother. 7 years ago, on the 7th of October, her body was found here in this very room. As a Newcastle United fan, 7th of October is a very special date for me because back in 2021, that's when the takeover happened, so... I have 2 crime photos and the police notes on them for you to see. What a terrible way to die. This other photo shows the other side of the room I see. 7-year-old photos out of the court record. 2 photos of the body and crime scene. They were taken by the first person to discover the body. I also have the autopsy report for you. Hopefully this isn't an outdated one. Metis' autopsy report added the court record. The cause of death was a stab wound to the chest. The weapon pierced the heart and so death was instantaneous. The murder weapon was the victim's own katana found at the scene. Yes, Detective Albright mentioned she was into Japanese culture. The body was found by a Space Center staff member and 2 police officers. The police were called in because of the sabotage threat on the Hat 1 launch. Yes, Director Cosmos mentioned this too. A few hours after the body was discovered, a suspect was arrested. The suspect was Simon Blackwell, a young prosecutor. I hear his trial was over in a flash. Yes, a guilty verdict was declared in only 1 session. Not only did he plead guilty, but there was decisive evidence against him, too. The security camera video. And a photo of the moment of the crime, as I recall. But did Prosecutor Blackwell have a motive? To this day, his motive is still unknown. He insisted he did it, but he would never say why. So that means he must still be hiding something. Right, and there's another aspect of the case that was never revealed to the public. Yeah, I know, the part about the spy, right? Right! How on earth did you know about that? Director Cosmos told me after a bit of pressure. He told me espionage and sabotage are behind the Hat 1 miracle. Don't worry, I won't tell anyone. I've always been good at keeping secrets, and I just noticed that Hat was not uppercase there. I'm not sure if that was intentional or not. Well, I might as well tell you now. They really do suspect Blackwell of being a spy. They think he sabotaged the rocket and killed Dr. Sykes to steal the moon rock. But if you can prove that the Hat 2 bombing is the work of the same spy, we can stay the execution. It's a possibility. That's why I intend to help you in any way I can. Thanks, Edgeworth. Now all I have to do is comb this room for evidence. Let's do it together. Okay. And with that, we can now examine. Let's examine this first. It's about as cluttered as my office, but I think it's a workbench. Mr. Nick, I think this must be a kitchen. Look at this photo. See the cute little food processor? Oh, that isn't a food processor, Pearls. That's the Hope capsule. It was scheduled to be loaded onto the Hope space probe that fateful day. The 3 people who came to collect the capsule discovered the body. The first on the scene, huh? Staff member and 2 police officers, was it? They were here to collect the capsule. Which reminds me. So they plan to use this bag to carry the capsule, is that right? Yeah, more or less. Say, why don't we stop talking about the case and have a nice cup of tea instead? Apollo and Aura Blackwell? I wonder what they're talking about. Edgeworth, did these 3 people have a bag with them for transporting a capsule? Oh, you mean this? It's a custom-made shock-resistant bag. How'd you know? Oh, I just overheard Apollo making an inquiry about it, that's all. So he's looking into the case from 7 years ago on his own, is he? Hope capsule updated in the court record. It was at the crime scene 7 years ago. It was launched into space and only returned to Earth a few days ago. Okay, now we're going to examine this giant robot here. This is one heck of a robot. There's something written on it. Is this supposed to be a poem? I cut down anyone who displeases me. I make the rules. I am the law. I wield the ultimate gavel of judgment. I am Judge John, JTO2. I don't believe we need to bother with that, Pearl. It's not even completed yet. He's right, Pearls. There's no sign of it in the photo from 7 years ago either. They were building the Hope space probe here at the time. The murder occurred after the space probe had been removed from the room. So it was long gone by the time someone took this picture, huh? But you can see the probe in this newspaper photo. Yes, and you can see the stolen moon rock there too. That strange black and yellow thing on the left side of the picture? Note that the same rock is absent from the crime scene photo. Not only that, but before the launch, a very valuable piece of moon rock was stolen. I hear there's lots of research into moon rocks and stardust from asteroids these days. They say the results could potentially have a huge impact on all of civilization. It's like we're in a new space race with every other country out there. So the person who stole it, think it was our spy? I'm sure of it. Dr. Sykes was probably killed because she was a roadblock in their plan. Unfortunately, the government thinks Prosecutor Blackwell is the culprit. And with that, I do want to go ahead and slide to the left. And I do want to examine Aura's desk now. Aura's desk is a mess, though that doesn't surprise me. Oh, I just want to dive in and straighten it up. Wait, before you do. Metis. Huh? She just glanced over at her desk. It's Metis Sykes. Clonko, can I talk to you? I really hope he's back to normal. You wish to speak to me, Mr. Wright? If you're gonna hit me, please avoid the face area. Hey, don't put me in the same class as that woman. What was Aura like 7 years ago at the time of the incident? When Mother died, Miss Aura was confused. Huh, so she calls Dr. Sykes' mother. But Aura Blackwell, Miss Aura? With the loss, she exhibited a severe catecholamine imbalance. Excuse me, but I have no idea what that means. Pardon me, searching for alternative expression. She would spend the nights crying and then take out her feelings on those around her. After Prosecutor Blackwell was found guilty, she repeatedly demanded a retrial as well. That is correct, but without new evidence, her requests were ignored, and then, little by little, Miss Aura began to change. She started to hate it when I called her Mama Aura. And before long, she started hating the court system and abusing Klonko, huh? That murder destroyed so many lives. Right. Take a look at this paper on Dr. Sykes and Miss Blackwell's research. Ponko and Klonko, they're the robots with hearts that Dr. Sykes created. Ponko series features can determine the presence of a human within their heartbeat detection system, recognizes people by scanning their spacesuit on uniform jacket ID tag, can also recognize a person by facial features once a face has been registered, can infer people's emotions by analyzing their tone and voice, communicate with them. Heartbeat Detection Center lets them determine when a human is present. In addition, they can recognize people by their ID tag or facial features. And they can infer people's emotions by analyzing their tone of voice. That's amazing! Hey, I don't know, Edgeworth. They might be even more human than you. What's that supposed to mean? Kinda sounds like these robots can do what Athena does. Robots with a heart added to the court record. It explains the recognition and communication features of the Ponko series of robots. Okay, with that, we are gonna go ahead. Let's examine this red box. An emergency ladder. This must be the one they used during the evacuation. The explosion disabled the elevators, so I lowered my emergency ladder like the detective leading the evacuation told me to. As Miss Blackwell was climbing down the side of the building, she saw the culprit inside. I wonder which would have been scarier, that or looking down. Emergency ladder added to the court record. It was lowered to the ground from the window of the 4th floor robotics lab. It was used to evacuate Space Center personnel. And let's go ahead and examine this. It looks like an operating table. It's in the photo, too. Yes, it was here then as well, with the victim's body lying on it. There's a button here. Oh, I know. I'll try pushing it. Post, don't touch the... Oopsie. Hey, it's moving. Appears to be a robot assembly device. Disassemble anything in a flash. Push the dismantle button. Sounds pretty neat. Can I push it, Mr. Nick? Please don't push any more buttons, Pearls. Well, I guess that's about it for this room. So, what do you think, Ray? Any ideas? There's still a lot of gaps in the evidence, but I'll pull it off somehow. After all, you asked me to prove Blackwell's innocence, right, Edgeworth? What? He did? Yep. He called it a special request. He reached out to me while I was still disbarred. And let's find out more about this quest. So that's what sparked you to get your attorney's badge back? Yup, the Blackwell case. Right, I have a special request. I want you to clear one of my subordinates of suspicion. Hey, I'm not even a lawyer anymore, remember? Haven't been one for a long time. That 8-year misunderstanding has been cleared up, and you must be eager to return. I'm sure you're familiar with the other case that ushered in the dark age of the law. Very soon, a convict will stand as a prosecutor in court. I want you to keep an eye on him. Just when I was beginning to actually like the job I have now. Right. I'm sorry I dragged you into this. Because of the espionage aspect, I wasn't free to give you all the details. Hey, no need to apologize. It's like I said on the phone the other day. I know that the type of criminals you're after now aren't small fries anymore. Looks like your target finally decided to make a move. Yeah, it's for this very reason I returned. Time to bring it to an end. And that's the very beginning cutscene from the game. I'm gonna end the Dark Age of the Law. That's what this is all about. And let's talk more about this. The Dark Age of the Law sure comes up a lot these days on TV and in the papers. And I hear there are more false charges and fabrication of evidence than ever. When I became chief prosecutor, the court system had already lost the people's trust. It all began 8 years ago. A lawyer was caught fabricating evidence, and a year after that, a prosecutor was found guilty of murder. Wait, do you mean... That's right. He's talking about my case and Prosecutor Blackwell's. It was a downward spiral after that, an absolute nightmare. After those two cases, the mass media launched an all-out attack on the courts. Public opinion was tainted, and before long, the legal world itself was sucked into it. It's such a shame. Once suspicion forms, it's very hard to shake. Lawyers and prosecutors were supposed to trust each other, pursue the truth together. It's so sad when people begin to cast doubt. They start lying to themselves and each other. Yes, and do absolutely anything to win. We're in an age now where winning is valued far more than the truth. I'm sure it's caused our new chief prosecutor to lose many a night's rest. Is it just me, or did his brow get even more furrowed than last time I saw him? The hostage taker's disdain for the court is the perfect example of the times. It sure is. Do you have any idea who the hostage taker might be? Well, somebody who mistrusts the court system who can manipulate robots. It can really only be Aura Blackwell. Who else but her would want to retell that case from 7 years ago so badly? Simon Blackwell's older sister and the owner of this room. I agree with the conclusion. Perhaps she intended to force Miss Sykes to confess. Actually, I think she had a much more horrific plan in mind for Athena. The important thing is for you to solve UR1 and prove Blackwell's innocence. And then maybe she'll release the hostages. I'm counting on you, Ray, to set the prosecutor and those hostages free. And I'll be counting on you in court to help me too. Of course, I'll do everything I can to help uncover the truth. As this isn't an official trial, it'll be more liberty be a little unorthodox. Mr. Ray, are you finished with the investigation? Yeah, but I'd like you to tell the hostage taker something for me. I have to go to the detention center. I can't start the trial until I've talked to Athena. She's already given her consent. I'll accompany you to the detention center. So I'm still being watched, huh? Okay. I'll see you in court, Edgeworth. Even it will be an undocumented trial, it'll be good to face you in court again. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. December 20th. Detention Center. Visitors Room. She was right by my side only a few short hours ago. But I feel like I haven't seen her in ages. Oh, Mr. Ray! Oh, hey, Athena. And Pearly, too! I knew you would come. After all, the first step is the interview with the defendant. And because you're my friend and I was worried about you. Thanks, boss. I'm not the only one who's worried either. Really? Who else? I saw Miss Woods today. She was so beside herself she came to find me. She told me you used to live in the Cosmos Space Center. No wonder you knew so much about the place. Oh. So you know, huh? I'm sorry I didn't tell you. That's alright, but there are some other things I'd like to ask you. Sure, you can ask me anything. I promise I won't keep any more secrets from you. And with that, let's talk to Athena about the day of the crime. Tell me about the day Clay was murdered. I was actually at the Space Center that day. In the Space Museum. Right where the culprit fled to? That's not good. I could never fully detail with what happened 7 years ago. Not fully deal with what happened 7 years ago, but when I saw the center again during the news coverage of the Hat-2 launch, I thought maybe if I went there, things would be different this time. That must have taken a lot of courage to face your past like that. So I went to the Space Museum the evening before the explosions. This was before the launch pads had been switched. There was a sign that said, "Closed for repairs," and they weren't letting anybody in. Yeah, the director couldn't very well switch the pads if there were people in there. But I snuck in anyway. Did you want to see that Hat One group photo? The one with your mother in it? I did. But what I really wanted to see was her jacket. That jacket on display. That was Dr. Sykes? Hat One exhibit updated the court record, a newspaper clipping, a photo of the people involved with the launch, and the jacket worn by Dr. Sykes. But I should have known it wouldn't be easy to get over such a traumatic experience. The second I saw that jacket, it all came rushing back to me. Everything around me went hazy and I couldn't see. I tried to get out of there somehow. But I guess I passed out. When I came to, I was in the passage behind the rocket. I was in the shadows where people couldn't really see me. Maybe you got confused and went the wrong way when you were trying to leave? How long do you think you were unconscious, Athena? I was out until about noon of the next day. I didn't even know about the explosions. When I woke up, nobody was around, so I just went out into the boarding lounge too. My mind must have still been fuzzy because my memory is vague after that. I don't remember how I got home. No memory, huh? It's gonna be tough. Which means, what if I'm the one who killed Clay? Think that's enough of that, Athena. Let's talk about something else. So, during the entire incident, she was unconscious in the Space Museum. Of course I believe her. But will anybody else? What kind of research was Dr. Sykes, your mother, doing? Machines that could tell people's emotions by their tone of voice. And my special ability. Someday when people travel to distant planets, their companions will be robots. So she said they had to be able to understand how their human companions felt. Wow, robots that can understand people. That was just a convenient subject for her research. All she ever did was work, and she never paid any attention to me. Oh, sorry about that. Judging up all the old stuff. No need to apologize. Guess her home life was just complicated. Oh, by the way, Miss Wood said something about you always wearing headphones. She always wore these big, heavy-looking headphones. She said her mother made them for her as part of her research. I had to wear them every time I went out. Oh, I hated them so much, but she wouldn't listen. What were they for? Oh, she gave me some kind of explanation. But I don't remember now. It was too difficult for a little kid to understand. Okay, but let me say this one thing. I don't think your mother only thought of you as some handy subject for her research. I want to believe that. But just about the only things my mother left for me with a widget and this earring. Oh, it's beautiful! It's made of a piece of real moon rock she had for research. Maybe she did love me, in her own way. I'm sure of it. I'm really sure of it. Because that's what I want to believe too. Moonrock earring added to the court record, an earring that Dr. Sykes gave to Athena. The stone was cut from a real moonrock that was being used for research. I better ask her a little more about her mother's research. I should show her that paper I found in the robotics lab. And we're gonna go ahead and do that. We are gonna show her... Let's see where it is. Robots with a Heart. Oh, the Ponko series! You must have gone to the robotics lab. You seem to really love Ponko and Clonko. Yeah, my mother made them and I grew up around them, you know. Oh, there's one of those cute little robots in this photo, too. See Ponko's bandages? I put those on her. I just wound them around and around. Pretty bad job, huh? But I really put my all into it. I heard they left the center in those days, so I didn't have any human friends besides Junie. I didn't really understand the difference between robots and people back then. I thought that if a robot broke, bandaging it would help it get better. What a weirdo I was. Looks like there's something written on the bandages. Yeah, I wrote stuff like, "Get well soon, Ponko." But in the end, my mom just put her on the operating table and fixed her in a flash. Oh, that must have been the thing I made moving the robotics lab. I was so impressed by what my mom did. I even asked her if she would put me on the table and fix me if I ever got hurt. Looked just like magic to me what she could do. Little girl who grew up around robots. She should have some good memories of it. On a different subject, did you hear about the person holding up the Space Center? Yes, a little. And this person has even taken hostages? Guess I'd better spare her the news about Trucy. Well, after some negotiating, we agreed to do a retrial of the case from 7 years ago. What? You're kidding me. So that means Prosecutor Blackwell might... Yep. I know he's innocent. I just have to prove it. So wait, did you know him back then? Yes. He used to come visit my mom a lot. He studied psychology under her and would sometimes ask for advice on his legal cases. He was very kind and considerate and straight as an arrow. Unlike now where he's more twisted than a basket of snakes. That's why I took the witness stand during his trial 7 years ago. Please, you have to listen to me. He didn't kill her. His heard her screaming that he didn't kill her. I was a fool. How could anybody else know what I was talking about? She heard the voice of his heart. You were only 11 then, right? You were very brave just to give testimony. Pearls is right. You did very best you could at the time. But nothing I said did any good. I was a shaking and scared little girl, small and ineffectual. Even after I went to live with my relatives in Europe, I stayed closed up in my shell. But you're different now. You're always so bright and cheerful. Thanks. That's because one day I came to realize that I had to fight. I couldn't give up. I exercised hard and I studied hard. I wanted to become the strongest lawyer I could be. And we're gonna find out exactly why you became a lawyer. I wanted to save Simon, but I had no idea how. Then I met Mr. Wright, and thanks to him, I realized that if I became a lawyer, I could prove that Simon was innocent. I also realized that psychology could help me do this. I mean, psychology was my mother's specialty. When I studied it, I felt like she was there with me, supporting me. Doesn't seem like Athena knows that Prosecutor Blackwell was due to be executed tomorrow. I wanted to prove Simon's innocence personally. I wanted to do it so bad. Even now, I want to fly out of here and go save him. Come to think of it, she said something like that during the Themis Legal Academy trial. She mentioned there was somebody she wanted to save. She must have been talking about Prosecutor Blackwell. I heard some prison guards say that you had an interview with Simon. How was he? What did he say? No, I can't tell her. But how can I lie to Athena? He was doing well. He was happy about the possibility of being proven innocent. He was. I wonder if he smiled, like he used to, back then. If I can't prove Prosecutor Blackwell's innocence in this trial, I don't think Athena will ever forgive me. I just have to free him. Failure is not an option here. Ah, I thought you might be here, Mr. Lawyer. We're in trouble. Well, we are. What is it? I couldn't find a single open courtroom. They're all in session. Oh no, but this is an emergency. It's very difficult to interrupt a trial once it's underway. There's Phoenix's ringtone. My phone. It's from Trucy. I told you I'd give you 1 hour. Guess it's time to pick one of the hostages. No! Wait! We still have a little more time! Besides, all the courtrooms are being used right now. Make all the excuses you want, but you won't get more time. Your daughter is first. The poor thing. She's a little too young to die, don't you think? No, don't you dare hurt her. There has to be something I can do. The cruelest injustice about to befall us. No, this can't be happening. Mystic Maya, help us. Wait a minute. Maya? I read somewhere that you were holding a child in the middle of an exploding courtroom. That must have really been something, although weird is par for the course with you. A courtroom. Blew up. That's it. There is a courtroom we can use after all. Okay, time's up. Too bad. Any last words you'd like to say to her?
Hold it!
Aura, please don't add to the crimes you've already committed. So you know who I am, do you? It wasn't like I was trying to keep it a secret anyway. We're ready to start the trial. We can hold it in the ruins of courtroom number 4. The one blown up by the bomber. Oh, what a wonderful idea, Mr. Nick. I never would have thought of that. An astonishing trial in an astonishing location. Guess it's only befitting. I'll go get the place ready right away. I didn't exactly pick the place for its astonishing factor. How about it? Are you ready to have your brother's innocence proven? My brother? oh, I'm sorry. Did I forget to mention? It's not Simon you'll be defending. What? Not Prosecutor Blackwell? I indict Athena Sykes on the charge of murdering her own mother. You'll be defending the little princess there, the one behind the glass. But what? See you in that mountain of rubble you've chosen for a courtroom, Mr. Wright. What is she talking about? Athena? Of course. Why didn't it ever occur to me before? If Prosecutor Blackwell is innocent, somebody else had to have been the true culprit. Did I kill my own mother? No. No! Oh, jeez. No way. It can't be true. Mr. Nick, what's the matter? I see 5 black psyche locks. I've seen these kinds of locks before. Dark, black locks protecting a secret hidden deep inside a person's heart. And there's no way to remove them. Wow. And with that, we have officially ended the investigation, and the rest of case number 5 here will be taking place in the courtroom number 4 that is in absolute ruins right now. So 8 more episodes until hopefully we're able to not only prove Simon Blackwell's innocence, but as well as Athena's. So hopefully you guys are looking forward to this, because it's going to be one hell of a ride. But with that, thank you guys so much for watching this. Hope you guys are enjoying the series so far. I'll be seeing you guys again next time.